Hey, Alex.
Ah, John.
You know what I hate?
No, what's that?
I hate when I'm seeking pure hedonistic pleasures and I find a box that's supposed to, grant me these pleasures, but instead it's full of like these weird middle management demons that tear my flesh apart, but I'm able to escape their torments, and I'm just about free until my niece catches me wearing her dad's skin and makes a deal with them to banish me to hell.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I'll tell you I'd be a rich man right now, John.
Yeah, it's a very relatable problem.
It is. All of which was documented in Werner Herzog's The Hellraiser.
Das Hellraiser.
I watched this movie, and I was making fun of the lead, Larry. I was like, you're not good at acting. And then I had two revelations.
Wait, are you talking about Frank?
No, Larry. Like, the lead guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, I guess lead isn't that clear. The one that's human the whole time guy.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, he's terrible. And then I realized that he's dubbed, which we can get into. But then what I also realized, that's Garrick.
Yes, but
that's Garrick. He's like one of my favorite actors ever. I love Garrick so much.
Yeah.
And that's Garrick, and I didn't know. And now I feel terrible that I was judging his performance. Obviously, it was the dub job's problem, because Garrick can do no wrong.
He's not dubbed. Frank is dubbed.
Oh, I thought everybody got dubbed, it said.
No. I mean, a lot of people got dubbed, but that's still Andrew That's pure Andrew Robinson, baby.
Why is he acting like that?
Because he's a big loser in this movie.
Oh, boy, it is. There are some choices to be made. Well, now all my acting making fun of notes are going to have to be read aloud because, oh boy, it is not good. Though, looking back on his career here, he is in a lot of stuff. Like, one, he's in Mantis, which is a show I reference nearly as often as Parker Lewis Can't Lose, for as far as dumb shows no one should ever reference anymore. But like he's in everything. He's in the Puppet Masters, Pumpkinhead 2. He's in the Tracers movies, if you ever saw those. He's in a later Child's Play. Like, that dude was all over shitty B movies.
Right. Well, and before that he was in Dirty Harry and like the first Dirty Harry one, basically playing the Zodiac killer. I forget what the Scorpio killer, I think they called him in that one. He was in a bunch of stuff. And in fact, that was a huge deal for Clive Barker making this movie. This was Clive Barker's first movie that he directed, and he wanted to get actual actors and not just, attractive young people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Apparently he played Killer as Andy Robinson in Dirty Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm thrown by the performance, because he is. You're right. I guess he's just playing an '80s dork, but it's over the.
He's corny as hell. I will absolutely grant you that.
It's rough. I think a lot of the 80s, if I'd watched this when I was young, I think maybe I'd understand the kind of cultural kind of, Kabbalah going on, the weird zeitgeisty shit. Because like, I have a note very early on that I don't have the ability to tell if a woman from the 80s is attractive. And I usually get thirsty for hunky guys in movies. Frank, I did not find attractive in the slightest. And he's supposed to be, sensual and like irresistible. And I was like, he kind of looks like and his name is Frank, which doesn't help because he reminds me of Frank Stallone.
Yeah, the hottest man on the planet.
And that's true. I mean, I do like a man that can sing.
I mean, he is sort of like soap opera attractive in that, like, yeah, he's this like kind of axe-jawed, smoldering man, but it's this kind of, yeah, I guess the same way that like a lot of famous hot stars and starlets and whatever, I'm just like, yeah, you look like that if you're on TV. I don't understand what makes this person so much more attractive than this person.
Yeah, and I think
I don't see attractiveness.
Oh, well,
I'm that woke.
I mean, that's lucky for you and your mirror. Hey-yo!
Oh, no!
Get it?
I walked into this!
I'm insulting you for your looks, even though you've had more stable relationships than me and you're objectively better looking. But in your face, fatty. Alex looks down and jiggles his tummy. All right, not fat shaming anybody except for myself.
And Butterball.
Yeah, and Butterball. But he's a Cenobite, so I think it's allowed. I think the problem with Frank, and it's not that he's unattractive, is he read as stupid to me. And the character, I think, for the journey that he's on should be smart. I mean, he managed to find some, obscure souk somewhere to find this weird magic box. He obviously knows some occult stuff. I feel like he probably should read as like kind of intelligent first, but he reads, he reminds me of Mallory's boyfriend from
Nick?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, he's just got that he's just kind of, he just read dumb to me. And
sure. He kind of looks a little himbo-y, I guess. Again, with that sort of soap opera attractiveness.
And it kind of ruins the character. It doesn't ruin is a very strong word, but I think it could have been, I don't know, it would have been a lot stronger. I'm criticizing a movie that was made for like $1. So, it's, right. They got who they got, and they should be happy for it.
No, but I see what you're saying. Like for a guy that's supposed to be this sort of hedonistic traveler and always after the new thing, that he did kind of seem just sort of himbo-y.
Yeah, like he seemed like, all right, so at one point she goes, anything, or something along those lines. And I wanted him to go like, we're going to do butt stuff. Like he's just got like his idea of going really kinky is like
on top and underneath.
I can't even think of what movie it's actually based on. I think it's Top Gun, but like Hot Shots, where he's like putting fondue on her belly. Like that's his idea of super sex. I've got a strawberry. There's nothing hotter than like 50 Shades, like that lady that seemed like she had sex once before she wrote the book. And you're like, really? That's what you think? That's what you think that's like hardcore S&M is? All right, whatever. I'm glad it awoken your flower, but
which I very much like that idea of that being the Cenobites thing. They're like, we're going to blur the line between pleasure and pain. Have you ever had a strawberry?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
ready to have your mind blown.
That's in their other world. They've got like those fluffy handcuffs and like all along, like there's like plaques on every wall with the safe word. Like it is like the most sterile, like go to Amsterdam version of S&M possible.
Yeah, the sex nerd kind of thing. Yeah.
Just like really, really square, mom, pa, Kent style of them getting kinky, Yeah. Oh,
over here's the sex swing.
Yeah, the line between pleasure and pain. I put it in my mouth once. Oh, Pa loves it on his birthday every year. Oh, here's something I found out in my preview of this. So the term Cenobite is a word meaning a member of a communal religious order. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Hellbound Heart, which is the short story this is based on, specifies they are members of, and I quote, the Order of the Gash.
Yep.
So he's like really bad at writing, huh?
Well, that's it's very evocative. You got to give him.
I mean, there's a hell of a double entendre happening there.
Yeah. I mean, it's Clive Barker. He loves horror and sex stuff.
Yeah.
But that one is a little, on the nose, perhaps.
Yeah, a little. And the text...
Oh, it sounds like a Valerie Solana's organization.
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to laugh anyway. Ha! What's Valerie? What now?
She's the woman that I shot Andy Warhol. She made Scum, the Society for Cutting Up Men.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Look at you knowing stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So the movie opens with Frank, or, we meet him later and know him, that's Frank, getting a box from a mysterious Asian. And the mysterious Asian says, "What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?" And then get what happened there? He gives him the box, and that's his pleasure. It's like, this is deep. Mm-hmm. They're setting the scene early. And they both have filthy fucking fingernails.
Yes, they do.
What's up with that? I mean, in your search for like the ultimate hedonistic pleasure, you can't get your cuticles done?
No, that's not. I mean, he just got done like eating at a crawfish boil. And that's why his fingers...
Those deep Asian crawfish boils.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't know about him because you don't live this hedonistic lifestyle that he does.
There's nothing more hedonistic than crawfish boils.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you I'm going to put it in your butt.
Yep. Justin Wilson said that.
So I like the mythology of this movie. But here's the thing that's weird is how the hell did Frank figure out where this box was? Because it seems like he was looking for it specifically.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really get into it other than that he was looking for this ultimate thrill. Like that he keeps looking for this thrill and he was clearly into some... sex magic-y kind of things, and so he heard it through the grapevine or something.
But how would that even? I mean, this is human nitpicking. This isn't even a complaint. It's just like a question kind of thing of like, how would anybody even find that out? Like a Dark Song when you're done with the ritual, the Abrahamelian ritual, you go, holy shit, we saw this giant fucking angel. And you tell your friends. This one, you get sucked into a nether region and torn asunder to your various bits. How do you report back?
Well, I mean, apparently there's a system going on because, as the movie ends and the kind of loop starts again or whatever, the new victim is found, like between the keeper, the weird beardo guy, and the dude selling the box, like it's just a trap to get souls in there. So they probably have a hype man, a carnival barker.
Yeah.
Talking it up.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then, yeah.
Was that mysterious Asian guy? Was that the same mysterious Asian guy from Gremlins?
I don't think so, no.
That was just like a shared universe. Like he's got Mogwai and pinheads.
Yeah.
Remember, don't feed the Cenobites after midnight.
Right. Don't have sex with them after midnight.
Yeah, can you imagine the Mohawk version of a Cenobite? Oh, it'd be crazy.
Nasty.
Cenobites. What's Gremlins 2? Gremlins Take Manhattan?
The new batch.
The new batch, yeah.
Although that would take a new meaning, the word batch.
Oh yeah, it's just all taint. They're just all pierced taints. That's one of the Cenobites has like that same thing as that lady with like the labia on her neck. She's got like her neck cut open. Yeah, like they've got the same one, except this guy's got a taint cut open.
The Cenobites, the sort of demons or whatever they are, there's Pinhead, which everyone knows and loves. There's Butterball, who's the big one, Chatterer with the teeth, and then there's Female Cenobite. That is her name in the first two movies.
Yes.
I mean, she got some nicknames in the fan communities, like Deep Throat, but...
Well, that was the name, like, that I think Clive Barker gave her. And they couldn't put it as in the movie. At least the trivia was saying.
No, the people on set gave it to her. Like, it became like an on-set joke. But in the script, in the movie, she's billed as Female Cenobite.
Oh, I read it as they couldn't bill her as...
No.
Because what's Pinhead billed as? Because that was an on-set nickname, too.
He is just lead Cenobite.
Oh, okay. So I guess that is all on-set names. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, because I think because they weren't that thrilled with the name Pinhead anyway. Because that was, again, like sort of a fan-given name or, something that got out there. Because they wanted him to be called just like Priest or something. Because he's supposed to, Pinhead seems rather diminutive for what he's supposed to be.
Frank solves the puzzle box and gets sucked into the Cenobite world. I don't know if it has a name, but Hell. That's a funny joke. Good job, Alex. They hurt him so bad that he becomes just like a face on the floor, like chunks of...
Yeah, they tear him apart.
Yeah. So what's the point?
Well, that was just, that was just the start of it all. Because, they also like warp him away because all the body parts like go away. So he's continuing to live suffering the whole time.
Wait, so when we see his face on the floor, what happens next? Like, just like, pitch to me what the next day in Cenobite Hell is.
Well, it seems like they're torturing him for a while in terms of the, what's happening in that attic, it seems like. And then he gets kind of ripped up. They put together his face and, then it's like, it all warps away from the attic, but apparently some essence of him is left there. And he goes down to Cenobite Hell, which you see more in the second one. And there's just a lot more sort of gnashing of teeth and tearing of flesh and stuff down there.
I think I missed a step. So when the box opened the first time, when he was kneeling in the candles, that's a shorthand for the occult. That was in that attic.
Yes.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I didn't put that together. I thought he had left from that house to Mysterious Asian Land.
No. He got the box, but apparently he opened it up in the house because that's why they find the remnants of his stuff there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I just kind of didn't put that together. So he got all torn up, and then his soul is in Cenobite Hell.
Basically, yeah. Or some part of his essence is still in the house, but it seems like all parts of him have been moved to this other plane.
And what do they get out of it? They're just having fun?
The mythology, don't know, because it seems like it. The thing is that the Hellraiser sort of mythology really ends at the second movie and becomes very, like, in terms of Clive Barker's say in it, and then just goes off the rails for the rest of the time. I mean, at some point they're dealing with other demons. In the fourth one, it's like in space. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec is involved. They get really, really bad.
They go to space? Ugh.
Yeah. There's like a ship that's like made of the cube or something. I don't know. I started to watch that one and then I bailed on the whole thing.
No thanks. I guess I just, cause like all we'll get back to the movie in a second, but like all their talk is like, we're going to teach you and show you. And like, it seems like a learning experience, but they're just like, just chopping your face off.
Well, they're simply explorers from another dimension seeking carnal experiences. And they're going to demonstrate that to you. They do seem like kind of like, because of their rules or whatever about how they can only show up if they're summoned by the box, and then they can't leave unless they take someone with them. It's bad that Frank got away. They just seem kind of like these middle management hell guys. They're just trying to keep stuff moving.
Yeah.
And they answer to a higher power. In this case, in the second one, you find out it's Leviathan, who's like a weird diamond thing. But yeah. It's left kind of open, because that's why I think they're like angels to some, demons to other, because the people that like getting ripped to pieces by hooks are like, hey, this rules. But the other people are like, boo.
They're like, no, this rules.
Yeah.
So our movie gets set up with Larry and Julia. They go to this house, and this setup it's fine. It doesn't bear scrutiny of. So they live in the Bronx or Brooklyn or something like that, which I guess back then sucked.
Or England.
Well, they say, what do we want to go back to Brooklyn? Or was that dubbed?
Yeah.
And that originally said
no,
Edinburgh?
they did. I mean, he does say we could go back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But there's just no indication of where they are now.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because they redubbed a lot of the voices to be American, because New World Pictures was like, this American audiences won't understand it if it's British.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, but he gets the house because his brother owned it.
Well, it was his mother's house.
So,
and like his brother was staying there at some point. They weren't necessarily expecting him to have been there. Just that his mother died or something, and he hasn't been there in 10 years, and he was coming to get the house.
So was he expecting the house to be such a shithole? Because that house fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was expecting it to be somewhat of a shithole, but like I don't think he was expecting food to be rotting in the kitchen because Frank was living there.
Yeah, because there's food rotting in the kitchen, but also there's a hole in the attic where Frank looks at Julia leave one time. But just gaping holes. There's rats all up in the place. Mm-hmm. It's fucking gross.
In fact, I even think he says like, we need to have an electrician look at this place before we do anything. So, yeah, he's desperate to get out of whatever life he was in before, and thinks that this new life will improve things, but with him and Julia.
Yeah, I think the problem, I mean, it's not a problem. It's fine. I'm being overly critical because I did enjoy this movie, but I think it's because of, I'm just going to call him Garrick. Garrick's performance. Because he plays it as just like kind of a hapless dork.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like he's got any like outside life to react to. So him just showing up in the house feels like, oh, I was created as I walk through the door. You know, like there's no yesterday for him. And that takes away, and it normally wouldn't matter, but since they didn't give a lot of backstory to Julia either, it kind of left me wanting, because it's like, well, what is she?
Right. All you have with this, with these people are just the family. Like this is such a microcosm of life for these people. Like this is, you only see characters in their relationship to each other in the family, basically. And in fact, even Frank, like, is called like Brother Frank, or, you know, your Uncle Frank. There was a scene that was, I think it's actually in 2, but they cut it from 1 where like Julia and Frank have sex on her wedding day, like on the wedding dress or something.
Oh no, that's in this one.
That's in this one? Okay.
Well, you know, I was going to bring this up. Sorry. Remember that you're talking about the scene where they're fucking on the wedding dress.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible we watched 2 different versions? Like, is this like a Lucas thing where there's different cuts and different editions and shit?
Could be. I don't know.
Because IMDb has 2 different listings for Hellraiser.
I mean, because I know there was like a restored one or something.
Well, there's 2 restored ones, I guess, because there's 2 Hellraisers listed on IMDb. One's from 2011, one's 2019. And I think they're both this movie from 1987. So I was wondering if maybe there's scenes that were recut in, or, you know, it's some kind of George Lucas-y bullshit.
Quite possibly.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if there's like a Cabal cut or something. Like with whatever you call
Nightbreed,
it.
yeah.
Anyway, but like the point is that all you know about these characters and all you're really allowed to know about them is their relationship with one another. So yeah, you like it's that like what it's like the only kind of history you have with Frank is that his wife at some point died and he was with Julia and things aren't going great and they were unhappy in Brooklyn. That's it.
Yeah, I guess that goes into like my being confused about whether she's attractive or not. Is like, is she supposed to be a young vixen that, you know, is using him for his sweet, sweet, shitty suburban house money? Or is she supposed to be age appropriate for him? Because also,
yeah,
I don't know how old he's supposed to be. Like, he could be anywhere from 38 to 62, you know, because it's the 80s and men just age differently back then.
Right. Well, and I think the idea is that she is just a bored housewife. Like, she got into this marriage for whatever reason. Like, she does genuinely have feelings for him to some degree, which is why she doesn't want to have him murdered. But Frank offered this, you know, this passion and this fire that she couldn't get elsewhere, and was very attracted to that. And in fact, there was the bit where when she's having the flashback, which she's having that flashback while they're bringing in the marital bed, the bit where Frank like cuts her nightgown off with a knife.
Oh yeah,
there's a switchblade. That apparently wasn't supposed to. That was again the call of New World Pictures. Like, Clive Barker in the script had a much more like almost like passionate, violent lovemaking thing with like, you know, clawed backs and whatever. But they're like, no, you can't combine sex and violence like that. So let's have it make it seem like he's going to rape her. It's like, oh, that's way better. Thank you.
Yeah, that was weird.
And so, I mean, yeah, but like you get some of the same effect there of that, like that kind of fear and arousal thing kind of happening, but not it reads much differently.
Yeah, it was odd. It was more, it read more as like somebody playing out a rape fantasy than a consensual kind of, I want to go dark kind of desirous thing. How heavy-handed is it to like actually fuck on your wedding dress?
Yeah, that's a little much. But I mean, like, that's like, you know, Clive Barker loves the sort of grand guignol, over the top nonsense. So
I guess I don't know Clive Barker super well. So like some of the stuff I'm picking up on is like, is that just his style? Which not complaining, but I think I would enjoy it more if I knew he was doing that just to be like, yeah, then they'll fuck in a wedding dress, you know, like he's reveling.
Yeah, it's not like he's John Waters, but I mean, he does enjoy the sort of big, broad, like mixing of sex and violence and gore and stuff like that.
You know what's interesting is how tame those Polaroids were that Julia found of Frank.
Yeah, I did still kind of like them though, because they kind of had more of a weird sense of mystery about them, rather than just, you know, here's some titties and me next to him giving a thumbs up.
Yeah, but it was just weird because like at one point he's like kind of behind a lady, but he's like fully clothed. He's like, what's happening here? Though also, you know, what did make me nostalgic for, you know, cranking off to Polaroids.
Yes, yeah, everyone in the 80s misses that.
Yeah, the good old days. Man, you know, the internet really ruined things.
Yeah, that's why in Hey Ya, when he says shake it like a Polaroid picture, that's actually what he's referring to.
Yes, the orgasmic shudders.
Well, no, him just whacking it to a Polaroid picture.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to be romantic.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. How long they spend on that nail that he's about to get cut on?
Oh, yeah, she's moving. Yeah, they really telegraphed that.
They established the shit out of that. I like how he makes a big deal about how he faints. Like that he can't deal with blood. Like he's like this like shriveling kind of delicate man. It's so odd. Yes. Like, and he's bragging about it at the party. It was just it's such an odd choice. Like all of this character is befuddling to me.
Well, it would make sense if he was British, because he'd be like, "Oh, look how polite and weak I am," and like, "Oh no, look how polite and weak I am." But actually, one of he catches his hand on a nail as he's moving a mattress, and actually one of the mattress guys. That was initially the role that Doug Bradley, that plays Pinhead, was going to take, because Clive Barker offered him the role. They had worked together in plays and kind of came up in school together, and he just didn't like the idea of being his first film role being under all this makeup and stuff like that. He kind of wanted to be seen, but so he's like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just be the mattress guy.
So the choice was between the lead villain of the piece or the guy that carries a mattress for a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
to be fair, like there was not they didn't expect Pinhead to blow up like he did, and he got more lines than he should have because like after Butterball and Chatter's costumes and makeup were done, they realized like, oh crap, these guys can't talk. So Pinhead got their lines.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense then. All right, so so the choice was between a mover that you see his whole face or a monster that gets one line.
Yeah,
in the
gets
script,
a couple lines.
But by the time when they shot it, they realized, oh, okay, no, that makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense because that's a weird. That's yeah. All right, so your other
Because I
gonna
think
be
in total the Cenobites are on screen for like 7 minutes. Like they're really not in this very much.
yeah, but I mean, like the way I was picturing was like, all right, your choices, you're going to be either Wedge Antilles or Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
You choose.
That
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
don't-
work.
Yeah, Luke has got that weird hair. I like wearing a helmet, so yeah.
I don't want to play a guy who's unable to go get power converters at the Tashi station. That just
Yeah.
doesn't seem like me.
What did they call him? His friends called it Wormy. I don't like the nickname Wormy.
Yeah, he bleeds all over Julia's up in the attic reminiscing about Frank. Larry goes up there with his owie and bleeds on the floor, which somehow awakens Frank's spirit.
Yeah, which was the creature effects in this are terrific.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I believe Bob Keane is the name of the guy. I hope I'm getting that right. Did the special effects and
Oh, I get it. That's why this is a family circus.
Yes, yeah, and why everyone has a little path tracing where they've been.
Well, they do for that part because he's bleeding all over. Like that dude's
Yeah.
hand is gushing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but that Frank reanimating is just so gooey, and it's just magical.
It's really good. The only creature effects I didn't like is the one at the end that we'll get to. But I mean, that's just they ran out of money. And when they show hooks going to flesh, the flesh effect isn't that great.
Yeah, it's pretty obviously latex, but
Yeah.
I guess that Frank reconstructing himself, like they redid it because they did it once where it's basically just like a body falling out of the wall or like this dried corpse, and they're like, yeah, well, I think we can do better, and so they just pumped a bunch of porridge through tubes and played some stuff in reverse, and it was nasty.
It looks like they did like I joke around about gelatin, but it looks like they had something that melts at temperature and then played the film backwards of it melting.
Yeah.
That was really cool. As much as CGI kind of kicks the shit out of practical effects for the most part, there's some stuff that practical effects just gives a visceral like, and this is gross.
This is a huge thing where I think practical effects. I'm at a point now where so many practical effects, even if they're bad, I'm like, oh, but I see what you're trying to do, and that's cool that you were going for that.
yeah.
But this is actually like really cool. These are very well done and yeah, very visceral, just nasty as hell.
It is. And then the next visual effect that I found really nasty is so Christy, the daughter shows up and she kisses her dad on the mouth, which is 100 times grosser than anything that happens in that attic.
Yes.
It's fucking gross. Don't kiss your kids on the mouth, you fucking creeps.
Yeah, Tom Brady, listen up. I know you listen to the show. Quit kissing your kids.
Does Tom Brady kiss his kids on the mouth?
Oh yeah, it's
Ugh,
weird.
Fucking gross. Don't do that. It's terrible. So we get another flashback to where Julia met Frank, and it's intercut with Christy needing a towel because she's got the faucet in the kitchen sink wet her, and then upstairs Julia needs a towel because she's thinking about Frank because she's got that WAP. You know what I'm talking about?
Woman is president.
Oh, is that what that song's about?
According to Saturday Night Live, yep, someone got paid to write that joke.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I thought that was you being purposefully stupid. Wait, that's actually an SNL joke?
Yeah, that was an SNL joke.
Oh, God.
Good. It's good that show's still on the air.
Because I was like, not like the thought wasn't happening directly, but in the back of my head, I'm like, that's a good dumb joke, John. Like, well done. Like, that's a great, like, that was very quick to come up with something stupid for WAP. But no, that's professional comedy writers get that. Okay. That's great.
Stop that dead.
I'm glad that we make negative $20 a month on this show. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we say funny things. Well, debatably, but funnier than that, at least. Ugh.
Nope.
So anyway, back to Julia's dripping. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is where she dreams about getting banged on her actual wedding dress, and I wrote, "That's fucking classy." There's that dinner party scene where Christy is getting just just woman as president for that guy doing the cigarette in the mouth trick.
Yeah, Steve, I believe his name is.
What is he doing in this movie? Like, that guy has no business being in this film. Like, not the actor. Like, what a useless role. Like, his character does nothing other than somebody to bang in one scene.
Kind of like it provides the only like decent relationship in the movie. Is that although there's not much to it, like there seems to be an actual connection between them that's based on like love and good things rather than with Julia and Frank it's just kind of carnal pleasure and this sort of like he's clearly from the beginning when he's like save me and I'll stay with you forever. They're like Frank's not going to do that. And then she's cucking the Larry and they're lying to each other. So it's like it provides this tiny counterpoint of hey, but there's some people can love each other. Okay. But even then it's still I think he has the right amount of screen time if that's your goal. Because he's kind of a non-entity. No,
okay, I'll accept that. That seems that's a good point. It seemed like, and the guy that played him did fine. Like I have nothing against what happened. It just seemed like a weird like extraneous character. I guess I just needed a reason to get Christy out of the house as well, other than her sweet pet store gig. But she specifically says that she has another that she's staying somewhere else to alleviate the chances of someone finding Frank. But yeah. So the dinner is awkward and what's the dad's name again? I forgot it already.
Larry.
I want to stop calling him Garrick. All right. Larry tells a ribald tale about how he passed out like an asshole at the doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And he is slaying, which makes me think these are very boring people. And I'm sort of siding with Julia of like, just go out, just go out and get some strange. Like this is awful. Because especially if the read of her being younger is true, that she's stuck at a table with, essentially not her parents' age, but, boring old people, and she's still kind of hanging on to youth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly that one lady that just goes, doctors.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a really good addition. Oh, yeah. So Julia fakes a headache, or just has a headache, and this is where she goes to the attic to find Frank.
Yeah.
And she goes in there, and then a goo man grabs her ankle, and it is fucking gross.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't look at me. And this is where I kind of wish I knew more about Julia of, is she under like some kind of spell? Because she does some weird shit, like being okay with a goo monster in the attic.
Well, I mean, she's been so like fantasizing about Frank ever since they got there. I think like she's definitely afraid of the fact that it's like, hey, it's Frank. She doesn't, she's a bit kind of enthralled with that, I think.
Yeah,
it's asking a lot to be like, oh yeah, goo monster. Let me hear what he has to say.
Yeah, it just seems like, but also the amount that she's daydreaming about Frank just feels like there's like not necessarily a supernatural component, but there's something else going. Like she's either like mentally not well, or there's a supernatural component. But like, right, yeah, like her whole life is just remember that sweet dick she got.
Mm-hmm. And it just tells you how good it was. But I don't know if this is, in the novella, if they go into this a little bit more where it's, since clearly some element of Frank is still in the house enough for him to reform there, that if, she's picking up that vibe.
Yeah. There's a weird scene here. There's two like very weird scenes in this movie. And I don't think I made a note of the other one, but, there's like a dream sequence where there's feathers flying everywhere and a baby crying and a body under a sheet.
Yes, that is. Christy has a dream about her father being in danger.
Well, sort of.
Basically.
I mean, yeah, Christy does have a dream. Correct. But the boyfriend, what did you say his name was?
Steve.
Steve is the one they show waking up.
Yeah, it's a strange like sleight of hand. Oh, you thought it was this, but it's not. Because it's clearly her dream because she's upset by it. I don't know why they tried to throw you off by like, no, Steve is dreaming about her dad.
It was so, no, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, that's fucking, because I mean, not that one or the other is actually a stronger choice, but like, it would have been kind of awesome if weirdly Steve's kind of like digging on the dad, like just another strange connection.
I'm into feckless men.
This is the part where I insult Dad's acting. So Larry, Christy decides to call her dad because she had a bad dream about him. Mm-hmm. And his yawn acting was like a toddler pretending to be tired. He has this like, no, I'm sleepy. And he's got like...
he even says in the phone, goes, I so sleepy.
Yeah, it is. Oh, honey, I'm so sleepy. Can you kiss me on the lips or put me back to bed?
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Wait, that was Pinhead. Pinhead says that later.
No, I think that was Chatterer in Chatterer language. I didn't know any of their names, and I called that one Chitterer, and I feel pretty like I'm capable of writing the next sequel.
If you've seen the other ones, absolutely.
Yeah, well, actually, you are. What it sounds like they went full out Jason X. So yeah, I probably could figure it out.
Basically, I mean, they do become kind of like, particularly in the third one, like Pinhead is full of one-liners.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very bad. Frank,
it's like, hey, I need more blood. Can you go find someone to murder for me? Mm-hmm. And again, maybe I'm asking too much of the characters, and how much time we have to live with them. But it feels like there's not enough vacillation on her part before she just goes and picks up a dude at a bar and straight up fucking murders him.
Yeah, I think it's a quick change for that character, but you have this kind of, she's very bored, this bored, frustrated housewife dreaming of this exciting, passionate love that she had, the good D. And he shows back up and is like, okay, hey, there's a chance for me to come back, but I need you to kill some people for me. And the way they go about it too is somewhat interesting, because a hammer to the head, like this takes some doing. And I understand, maybe he needs blood or something, but there's got to be an easier way.
Well, I think really is that just like it's like a subtle kind of metaphor. You go to the bar and you end up getting hammered.
Yo, that's what it is.
Hey-yo. Boing. I actually wrote in my notes, go to a bar, get hammered, hey-yo.
Nice.
Because I'm a nerd. Yeah, the hammer thing felt kind of impromptu. Like you probably should have planned it out better. I mean,
even like a hatchet, like would still be gnarly, but...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, something more one hit.
Mm-hmm.
But he did like his line after he basically slurps up that dude. He says, "Every drop of blood you spill puts more flesh on my bones," and he feels up her tit as he's saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next line where he says, "If you kill 2 more guys, I'm totally going to grow my dick back." Now I think that's the one that really got the point across.
Well, I like later as he gets a couple more bodies in there, how he's like. He starts smoking. He's like, "Oh, I can taste this again." Meanwhile, he has no skin. It's always like him inhaling, just being like, "Wow,
yeah,
this all hurts so much." But he's into that now, so
no, I do. I kind of like that because he talks about his nerves growing back and like he doesn't seem to be bothered by it, which is why I found it weird going back to him being just a face on the floor. It's like I kind of thought they were trying to teach him to not be Cenobites, but to teach him to love pain and kind of live that way. And yeah, I thought
he apparently sort of does, because when he has a couple of statements about like like at first I thought I could ignore all of it, but then I realized, hey, this is all pretty cool, but he still wanted out, so it's not all good.
This is where he says that he only needs like 1 or 2 more bodies and they can escape. And then he mentions that the Cenobites are following the first time they bring up Cenobites.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't give any more explanation than that, which is fine. I mean, obviously they parse it out, but like, it doesn't lead me to believe that like this Julia lady has a lot of inner life going on, or a lot of curiosity where she has to go, Cenobites. Yeah. A word I don't know. It sounds like some kind of like delicious microwavable snack, but
yeah, no, I think but I think there's a certain amount of a guy made of goo showed up, told you to kill people, you did, you watched him kind of become more of a person, and then he's like, look, the Cenobites are after me. You're just going to go, yeah, okay. I mean, there's a lot of, you're presented with a lot of information already.
Okay. Yes. You bring up a good point. I guess after I've accepted the ex that I cucked my husband with, showed back up as a pile of goo At some point, I stopped questioning his word choice. Yeah, good point. Good point.
That I've murdered people for now.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of shaken by that. And he's like, they're after me. And you're like, yeah, I'll bet they are.
After he kills the next guy, or she kills the next guy for him, this is where he's smoking a cigarette. He's got like a sweet tie on. No, sorry. The guy she kills has a sweet tie on. And Frank's all slamming girl smoking a cig. And that's the part where I'm like, I get this, why this movie caught on. Because that is like a cool, like, that's like iconography almost of like this gross, slimy guy smoking the cigarette. I'm like, I totally understand why this movie got its cult fame. And it's scenes like that. It's just got that like, I know it's not Rick Baker, but it's got that kind of Rick Baker vibe of just really cool effects that like in the 80s, you were just so starved for anything that looked like anything.
Yeah. And I can't help but think about how gross that shirt is. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't have skin and he's wearing a shirt, just how sticky and ugh.
Yeah, the itchiness is really what gets you.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been flayed by space demons, you know, and you have no skin left and you have to put on a starchy shirt. Oh man, that itching will get you.
Which I like. One of the possible titles for this movie that Clive Barker wanted was Sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave.
Awesome.
And they went, no.
Yeah.
No, Clive.
What was the original title?
Well, I mean, the novel or the novella is The Hellbound Heart.
That was it. Yeah, because the studio was like, it sounds like a romance, so we can't have it named that.
Yeah.
Because it's an interesting title, Hellraiser, where it's vaguely related, but it's kind of like that Hellraiser, the comic book that's, you know, everybody just calls Constantine, where it's like, do people just like choosing hell something when they can't think of anything else?
A hell-er.
There's this scene that happens here. There was this homeless guy that Christy and Steve walk by when they're going on their way home to start smooching. They go to her pet store. That homeless guy's there and he's eating crickets. It's asking a lot from the audience to just go, oh, I mean, I know we're going to have to explain this later, but
it doesn't pay off until later, like what that guy even is or why he's there. But yeah, it's just a kind of bizarre, you know, as I said before, like so much this is about the family and what's in that house that it doesn't even seem like, oh, is this the guy that's after Frank? Because we know already like what the things are that he's dealt with before. So a guy with a beard is not that scary.
Larry is watching boxing and he's doing the dorkiest shadow boxing, like, get him, like people watching boxing on TV. And it's always upsetting. And there is a tension going here that is really weird. So he basically comments like, oh, I know usually watching boxing makes you sick because it's so violent. And she's like, nah, man, I've seen worse, which I like. Then he hears something from upstairs and she simultaneously fakes being freaked out by lightning and wanting to bone him. They cut to rats being nailed to the wall because that's, I guess, what Frank does when he's bored. I mean, I guess you're bored.
Well, and you know, he probably get some blood from them.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh yeah, why didn't she do it? Why didn't she just go to the? She should have just gone to the pet store and gotten him a bunch of like dogs or whatever.
Yes, can I get a sack of dogs, please?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
For good reasons.
I mean, it's better than killing dudes from the bar, I guess.
Yeah.
Then she goes to try to fuck him, and Larry, I guess it's just established, but Larry looks like he's never had sex before. Like the way that he is approaching this, he's still got that like wah. Finally, gonna get it is tense. Is the wrong word. It is dumb.
Yeah, he's very excited. Maybe this is the first time in years.
There's also a missed opportunity here, and maybe the studio had to cut it, but like Frank is standing over the bed as they're starting, you know, when Larry and her starting to get, you know, hot and heavy. Why didn't they fuck while Julie is making eye contact with Frank?
Oh, well, because Frank also had a knife.
No, but what I mean is that don't you think that would fit these characters so much better?
I think it was. I see what you're saying, but I do think Frank has a like there is a much more sort of possession thing. Like I don't think Frank's into that stuff.
I feel like after you've had your dick chopped off by space demons, you probably lose like a little bit of that whole like, you know.
You would think, but it certainly didn't seem that way because Frank was like, "No, let me at him. I want to eat this guy."
Yeah, because it's not like I don't even think he's grown his dick back yet.
You know, I didn't look.
I don't remember how this happens, but basically Christy starts like spying on Julia, and she sees a dude take a dude home. Is that I don't?
What happens is she has dinner with Larry, and Larry's talking about how bad the marriage is going, and he thinks some of it's like that she's feeling lonely and isolated. So could you go and like, I know you guys don't get along great, but could you go like hang out with her? And she just happens to drop by to say hi right when she sees Julia like show up with a man. So she starts spying on them from there. And that's when she goes in there and encounters the guy that Frank and her try to kill a guy. He tries to escape, and Christy sees that.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay. And that's where Christy shows that passing out for no reason runs in the family. Because she just runs away and then sees like, I don't know, like a mailbox or something, and then just slumps down on the floor.
Yeah, she's able to escape she has the box for some reason. Oh no, because she has an encounter with them. Because he's like, hey, it's Uncle Frank. It's cool that I'm made of flesh. Don't worry about it. Then she like picks up the box to like protect herself, and he's like, hey, don't mess with that.
So yeah, when he picks up the box, he's like, don't do that, and she throws it out the window, and Frank's like, no. Why?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he can't, like, if he's word it's gone forever, if he can't leave the house, you know, if he's somehow still tied to that. Because, I mean, you see him leave the room.
But what does he need the box for?
I think just he doesn't want the Cenobites coming back. And they can only come back, it seems like they can only come back if they're called.
Oh, okay.
And
that
I just think he's like, if I have the box, I have control over this.
Yeah.
You know, or at least because he knows, quote unquote, that they're looking for him, or he's trying to prevent them from finding him.
Yeah. There's a weird scene after this too, where I don't know what the hell the tone they were going for is, but she wakes up in the hospital and the doctors are fucking sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And like they lock her in for some reason and say the police have to talk to her. Why?
I don't know what the policy was for this in the 80s, but it seems very weird. Like they're very angry at her for some reason.
Because I remember my youth in 1980s English-speaking country that you didn't get locked in your hotel room. And so she solves the Rubik's Cube. And
yeah, the what do they call it? The lament configuration, I believe is what it's called.
Yes, the Rubik's Cube. I lamented how much time I spent playing it and didn't get to have my slimy hands on any titties. And the wall opens to a creepy-ass hallway with a crying baby down the end of it. Now, I understand that you can't question the motives of a lot of people in horror movies. But, John, why the hell would you walk down that hallway?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like an odd choice. I mean, I'd be curious, like, what the heck is this? But my first instinct wouldn't be like, you know what I should do is...
Yeah, because especially if you've just seen, like, your flayed uncle. Like, I get it. So if this happened, like, if the inciting incident was a wall opens up and there's no crying baby, I could definitely see myself, after some very deliberate, you know, like, kind of hesitation, sticking my head in, seeing what's up, maybe thinking, oh, this could be some cool Narnia shit, Wizard of Oz style. Because I'm not in a horror movie yet. But the last scene she was in establishes that her life is now a horror movie. So it seems like ill-advised to walk down the crying baby hallway that just appeared in the wall of your hospital room.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would not want to do that.
I don't know if it's a Cenobite, but that weird half-fish monster thing is in the hallway.
It is called the Engineer.
Ah. And
it apparently has sort of a different role in the novella, which I have not read, but here it's just like, yeah, this kind of weird fish monster-y thing.
Yeah.
Which is a little, I mean, like, it's probably one of the weakest effects, but I still kind of like it.
Yeah, it looks okay. I mean, it's, for what it is, it's not like it plays a big role. Yeah.
Yeah. It just got me thinking, and you know, it's an unfair comparison to make because they're years and years apart, but did you ever see In the Mouth of Madness?
No.
Oh, John Carpenter. It's a movie I enjoy. It's the last decent John Carpenter movie, I'd say. But there's a part where Sam Neill is running down this hallway, chased by all these like gross monsters that are so much cooler than that one. But
oh yeah,
again, like you said, they made it for $5, so whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, it looks great for how little money this was made for. So Christy gets to meet the Cenobites, and they're like, "What? That guy left?" That's crazy. Even though every time we see them in their like hell dimension, you never see anybody else there getting tortured. So it seems like they probably would have noticed that Frank escaped.
Yeah, I mean, they're busy, I guess. But I also just like that he's like, no one escapes from us. Okay, he escaped from us.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a, hey, I'll get Frank back for you. And they're like, yeah, I mean, maybe. We're not really going to agree with that, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I'd try to nail him down for a little bit more, clear stakes.
Yeah, but I suppose, I mean, you're probably panicked. You just went down a creepy hallway chasing a mysterious baby.
Yeah. I also would like, and I'm not saying I would, but like, I'd really want to touch that lady's neck hole. It's just asking to have a finger put in it.
Yeah, see, I would not want to be around these people, I think is my initial.
Really?
But that's true. I mean, that's true of like any group that shows up. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm just like, can you please go away?
I think they look good. They all have clean fingernails, which I really appreciated. Because that's probably why they tortured Frank, is just how shitty the state of his, nail beds are.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah, they're like really upset because, the priest, impeccably dressed. It looks nice.
Yeah, he was going for some sort of like, I forget what the costume designer called it, but like magnificent super butchers, I think is what she described them as.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I like the, what'd you call the kind of sausagey looking Cenobite?
Butterball?
Butterball. I like how he's got those like kind of, anime glasses.
Yeah.
Like,
he takes them off later, like they're the mirrored things.
Yeah, I just meant the shape. They just remind me of like Ghost in the Shell or something, or like, I don't know what it is, but it looked like anime glasses.
I kind of wish that like later when he takes them off, he would just lower them and go, "Oh yeah."
Oh, that'd be great.
He was the cool Cenobite.
Yeah. So this is the big hullabaloo to finish the movie. Christy comes home, and Julia is there, and Frank is now in her dad's skin, which he doesn't know yet. Somehow they start fighting, and Julia gets stabbed by Frank.
Yeah, because, Christy has figured it out that, she wants to see the body. Because they've told her that, no, Frank's dead, we got him. She's like, I want to see the body. And they go up to the attic where it's actually her dad. The Cenobites show up there, and it's like, we want who did this. She thinks, they want my dad? That's crazy. Runs downstairs, starts getting accosted by Julia. And then she's kind of fighting with Julia. And then Larry / Frank shows up and kind of gives the game away because he says, like, come to daddy.
Oh,
and he's all
that's
creepy
right.
about it.
Yeah. He says, come to daddy. That's exactly what happens. Yeah.
And she claws his face, like peeling off some of the skin. Julia is holding her, like trying to restrain her for Frank to kill or whatever. And she jukes out of the way and he stabs Julia. And then he's like, nothing personal, baby.
Yeah, here's the part of his like kind of returning into a person here. Why did he have to take that other dude's skin? Like he was just drinking blood or whatever from the other guys to like get back to.
It's because he wanted to fool the Cenobites.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Oh, that's a good trick. Yeah, good point. Well done, Frank / Larry skin. Right.
Although they apparently knew right away because when they're like, we know this isn't Frank.
Oh yeah, but I mean, still, he didn't know that was going to happen. It's. Yeah. I mean. As if you're being chased after, sadomasochistic space wizards, that seems like a good enough fucking play as anything. Like the last time I carved my brother and climbed into him was I was just trying to get out of detention in high school.
Yeah, wacky.
It worked too. I only had to spend 6 months in that comfy box,
giving myself a big hug.
What I liked about this movie, other than there's 2 jump scares. Which I hate jump scares.
Which
so I like
were
that
demanded from the studio again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
like because they're like horror movies have to have this kind of thing, and Clive Barker's like I don't really like them. So yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the maggot thing, and there's a bit where a Jesus statue falls.
Yeah, the Jesus statue jumps out, and then I did like, and this is what I thought. Christy is such a rare like horror movie lady. She is so in control. A fucking dead body with maggots in its mouth falls on her. And she keeps quiet because she's hiding for someone that's going to kill her. And that dead body isn't really going to, isn't going to hurt her.
Right.
Which I like. That's so great. It's like a horror movie lady running and not falling as Jason is chasing her.
Right.
It's like, yeah, don't fall. Don't scream. Like, I know it's obviously very hard to have maggots fall on you, not freak out, but like, way to go. Like, I like a strong-willed person actually surviving a horror movie. I was proud of her.
Yeah, gold star.
Basically, she tricks Frank into running into the room with the Cenobites, and they start shooting some chains at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they're one of their whole things is they want to like hear him admit it, basically. Because it's not enough. Like, they're pissed that he got one over on them.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, you set me up."
And then he's got weird last words. He says, "Jesus wept."
Yes.
And then explodes from the chains pulling on him.
Which was an ad lib from the actor. Initially, the line was "fuck you," so he changed it.
Oh.
Now I don't know. Like, to me, because that is a an iconic thing associated with this movie. Again, to me, it feels a little bit like someone trying to ice skate uphill. But, apparently in the context of like the Bible, Jesus says that line is in this thing where where Lazarus has died. And they tell, like, Jesus finds out how great Lazarus was, and then he cries and then brings Lazarus back to life. I don't know if that's supposed to be some play to that. I don't know if it's supposed to be some like, hey, this world is hell. Jesus is going to cry about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's enigmatic.
There's a phrase that you use, like, when you're, like, super upset, like an English phrase, where you go, "Oh, Jesus wept," like, when you're, like, annoyed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going for...
Yeah, he's getting pulled apart, and he just goes, biscuits.
Yeah. Not the mama.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that'd be funny. Yeah, so he explodes after a weird line. Oh, yeah, so I wrote, Christy is not doing well. She's freaking out. And she grabs the puzzle box and starts, like, solving the puzzle to fight the Cenobites. This wasn't entirely clear to me what was happening here.
Yeah, well, because, she sort of puts together that the puzzle box is what brought them here. Maybe she can put it back together, whatever. Because she starts messing with it, and he's like, "No, don't do that." Yeah, sure enough, as she's putting unsolving the puzzle, I guess, it's like zapping them and banishing them back into the box. Because they have double-crossed her, and they're like, "No, we're going to take you too."
Well, to be fair, they never actually promised her. They're like, "Yeah, we'll think about it." Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So Steve shows up. Dude is unfazed about what's happening in that house.
Yeah, the house is collapsing, which happens.
There's monsters in it, and she's fighting them with a box. And he's seeing one of the monsters. And he's just like, "Oh, yeah, this seems totally normal." Like, it's very odd reaction, considering this is the first paranormal anything he's experienced in the film.
Yeah, but he's cool with it.
Yeah, almost like that character didn't need to be there. But So the house burns down, I think. This was another, like, shot that I didn't get, because the next shot, they're in a field with, like, 6 different fires going.
Yeah, the house is basically, collapsing because the power of the box is destroying the house around them.
So where they were standing in this last shot, that's supposed to be the remains of that house.
Yeah, basically.
That didn't read to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she throws the box in the fire, which I think smart move.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as everybody expected, the homeless guy from before that ate the crickets, well, what he does is walks into the fire to grab the box back and turns into a skeleton dragon.
Yes.
That was unexpected. I gotta tell you, on my list of things to happen at the end of this movie, I wasn't thinking skeleton dragon.
Yeah, one-eyed skeleton dragon. Unexpected.
What was that?
Is it a skeleton dragon?
No, but what I mean is, so in the next movie, is it established that, like, that's Pinhead's boss, or is that his Hermes or his Mercury? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's clearly the keeper of the box. I want to say it shows up again, but I don't. It's been too long since I've seen the second one. In fact, I almost watched it today. I've been on this huge horror movie kick because it is that time of year. And I almost
election
watched
season, am I right?
Yeah, hey-oh. Watching the news, but I'm sure he shows up again. But yeah, he's a reoccurring character, I believe, at least in the first couple.
And it was kind of awesome. Really glad a skeleton dragon happened. And the skeleton dragon brings the box back to the mysterious Asian man where it all began. And now he's talking to a different dude. And he's like, what's your pleasure? The Ouroboros, wherever you pronounce it. Snake's biting its tail again. Pinhead is putting a pin in his grundle, and the world is set.
That's about, yep. Grundles abound. Well,
John, I gotta tell you, I wish I'd seen this when I was young, because I very much enjoyed this movie, but some of the '80s didn't age as well as my taste would enjoy.
Sure.
So I really liked it. I would watch it again, but I regret not having seen it when I was young enough to like have the '80s just feel like, oh, that's just the way movies look.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain parts of it that like its cheapness, for lack of a better word, really helps it not age well. Like there are certainly movies of the time and older movies like '70s horror and stuff like that still like really pack a punch and are still very impressive. And this is still very good in my opinion. But you see the it's worn a bit. Like you see the workings of it a little too much.
Yeah.
Or you see the flaws.
I mean, even flaws might be a strong word because it's charming.
Yeah. And it's like it was amazing for its time in particular because it's there wasn't a whole lot like it.
Yeah, I'm disappointed with because I like the world building. I kind of like the idea of this, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll read like what it's based on, or like some of the other stuff that it's that's around this movie. But then when I found out about the order of the gash, I was like, nah, maybe I won't read this. Yeah.
I mean, I will say, and we talked about it when it was Nightbreed, when we were talking about Nightbreed, is that I'm a fan of his short stories. I've only read like the one. He's written a lot more sort of like dark fantasy novels that I haven't read a whole lot. But the one novel of his, the Damnation Game, I was pretty lukewarm on. But a lot of his short stories are great. But as far as this and the Mythos goes, I know they've kind of like. There's a comic book series that is its own thing now that I think maybe Clive Barker has some involvement with. But yeah, the second one, Hellbound or Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, it's I think that's the second one. I still enjoy it, but it's not a great movie. And they do get just subsequently way more terrible after that. In fact, I think the last one, if not the very last one, the one before, they just made so that they could retain the rights.
Oh yeah, one of those deals. Yeah.
So it's just one of those. I think even like Pinhead was just a CG guy. Like they abandoned Doug Bradley entirely.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Why would you CG? Oh, whatever. Yeah. All right. So I say, if anybody hasn't seen this movie, go see it. It's good times.
Yeah. Horror classic.
So, John, for next episode, continuing our spooky themes of October, what movie do you want to see?
Well, we could try, and it's not going to be easy, but we could try to watch The Invisible Man.
Oh, wow. It's really cool that I put all that emphasis on the word see, and then we're watching a movie where things are unable to be seen.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Yes, the 2020 remake with Elizabeth Moss, who a former guest on the show, Ted Douglas, had mentioned was abysmal. I have heard people hate it. I've heard people like it. There's not really an in-between, so I'm very curious to check it out.
All right. Yeah, that sounds delightful. So we're watching the 2020 version of The Invisible Man, not Diaries of the Invisible Man.
No, sadly.
Nor Hollow Man.
A Hollow Man.
Yes. All right. So let's do that. Remember to follow us on Twitter, JawsPod, where John Always Hates Stuff on Facebook, and leave reviews and do all the stuff that you do for other podcasts, but do it for us because we don't, ever ask. So yeah. Bye.
Bye.